It is at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, July the 20th. This is the Heritage Commission of Exeter. My name is Jay Myers. I'm the chairman. To my left, I'll let others introduce themselves.
John Merkel, Vice Chair.
Bill Campbell, member.
John Gruder, Planning Board Rep.
And to my right?
Pam Chatham.
Julie Gilman, Select Board Rep.
All right, thank you all for being here, and those that are listening, thank you for paying attention as well. Our agenda has several items which are likely to not take too long. First of which is the approval of minutes from June 15, 2022. Liz is ready for any amendments to that or edits and corrections.
I just have one teeny little one, and that's at the bottom of page 2, the town planner. I don't think we should call him that. Let's just call him either the town planner or our town planner. How about our town planner?
Oh, I would just say the.
Yeah, or the town planner.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a question on page 1, where it says E to elect officers. Is that referring to?
That's that E belongs at the,
Yeah, see, here's the
Jay said is Tim, and that's supposed to be Tom.
Time. Yeah. That's the printer, that's not the
Thank
fella.
you.
It's a dangling paragraph.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. And I did intend to go to that graveyard workshop, and I signed up for it, but June 26th was just as hot as it is today, and I just couldn't face it.
Same. Actually, something else distracted me. I don't remember what. Mr. Chair, I move to approve the minutes of June 15th as amended.
Second.
Any further discussion? All
Well,
those in
actually, I
favor?
can't second because I wasn't here.
I'll second it.
All right,
Okay.
thanks, Bill. And Pam for recognizing that. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I wasn't here.
You have to
Aye.
abstain.
Okay, so Pam and John abstain. And the rest of us
We got
voted in favor.
John and John.
it covered.
I had one question that was from the minutes, which was, we talked about the Division of Historical Resource mini grant. Did we do anything on that, Julie?
We have to pay the dues, and we haven't done that yet. So,
It's on the works. It's going.
yeah.
You don't have to do anything.
No, we have to pay the dues and then submit the receipt to the Division of Historical Resources.
I thought that would be a good thing. And it was,
And I can get all of you to have individual emails, so I don't have to forward it, whatever their info is.
and the other thing that was in there that we probably shouldn't lose track of is the master plan business. We don't need to do that tonight, but somewhere down the line. Okay, good.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. I made note of that, too. I was reminded about the discussion of the master plan. It didn't make the agenda, but something that should be on there moving forward. And just for clarifications, that would be our master plan, the Heritage
Yes.
Commission master plan, not so much the town's master plan. And that'll play an important role in the public service announcement preparations, which I haven't heard yet about, so that's...
No, we should organize that. Well, it's on the agenda, but we should organize that as soon as possible.
Let's turn to that since we are sort of talking about that or in that direction. I have not heard back on any plans moving forward. Julie, do you know anything more? Okay.
It's really up to the TV staff to start scheduling those things when they have the manpower and the opportunity.
Okay. In terms of the master plan, then, should we have an action item to draft up perhaps what I would say at the public
Yeah.
service announcement? I can do some of that work, but
Yep.
others would contribute in some way.
We definitely want a script,
Yeah,
so we don't miss what we want to say.
I'm certainly not going to wing it in the moment. All right, so I will I include that as an action item, draft script,
When is this scheduled to be
master plan.
to happen?
It's not scheduled yet.
So sometime.
So the idea, John, and given all of your history with the Heritage Commission, you'd be pivotal in helping craft that, but getting us in front of the public through a public service announcement to recruit members and to recognize what we do and let people know that. So I think all the select board decided that that was a good initiative for all town committees to.
And we also are talking about an all boards meeting again. We do them every couple of years, just because we get new people rolling in and on and off, just to highlight how we should be interacting with each other, what information one board has that another board should know. So that'll be coming up too. It hasn't been scheduled, it'll probably be in the fall after everybody's summer vacations are done.
All right, well, action item is to draft up a script. Let's turn to the antique trough donation. I saw a number of you looking at that as we sat down. This was an email I received from Pam based on the donation that you're seeing here. The select board was given notification of this donation. The Heritage Commission was asked to review and weigh in, so that gives us an opportunity to help in the decision-making process, one being the placement of the trough, and the other in its use, and it sounds like proposal to fill it with some flowers, in addition to having a plaque placed on that. You all had a chance to review that, and any thoughts or discussion?
Can a plaque be placed on a granite top? I mean,
Yes.
can.
I
Yeah.
thought the suggestion from Pam was a good one, right out front here.
I disagree. Yeah. I think out front is too crowded. I think that pad where the benches and the bike rack was made with ADA access, so somebody in a walker or wheelchair can get up there to sit on the bench and watch the band concert or whatever else is happening. And it's just too crowded with the monument on one side, the Armed Service Monument on one side. We have the whole big ramp access, we have the town sign, we have the bench, we have the trash cans. It just seems like too much stuff. Their other suggestion was the Townhouse Common, which I would prefer. I really don't see where else we can put it as a piece of street furniture. And my only other thought was that little pocket park over there, but that's nice to have the seating rather than a big trough of flowers. So my other thought was the Townhouse Common, and I know that their notes are that it doesn't necessarily have to be on the brick path. We don't really want it on a brick path to get in the way of pedestrians, but I kind of disagree about
What about
setting it on the sod.
at that little place where there used to be the fountain in front of the parking lot?
That's what I was talking about, the little parking lot off of Water Street.
Oh, okay.
But we have a chair and
okay.
table and chairs there now, and people do use it.
Yeah,
And it's small enough that this would take up the space.
yeah. Does
And
anybody ever sit there?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. In the seasons where we would have flowers blooming, yeah. So I was more leaning towards the Townhouse Common or maybe Founder's Park.
Be nice if there was some place that people walking around town would see it more than Founder's Park, I think.
Well, that's getting used more often than you think.
Sort of, it seems to me it would be something the townhouse common's there because the townhouse at one time that was there, probably had a trough at that time too.
Might have.
It might be nice to be somewhere where it would normally be.
Yeah.
I think that's what maybe you're getting at.
That's
If
a
that's
better
if they
way
were
to
on the
say it.
side of the road in use, let's put it there. Now, where there is,
Right,
have
and
to
now
narrow it
with well, now with the automobile being the main traffic, portion, I
I
think
know, but-
along here, it would be hidden unless you're walking on the sidewalk.
well, walking, I think if you're driving by it, you're not going to see it anyway.
Yeah.
The people that, and then the plaque might be on the inside, not on the inside, but on the sidewalk side, saying what it was at one time. And then I have a question too. Where does it say it's granite, other than in Russ's
Just
thank
looking
you
at
note?
the pictures.
I don't know. I mean, it almost looks like it could have been concrete.
Yeah,
I see Russ's thank you note, I think, says antique granite, but I don't really see that anywhere. So, I mean, and not having seen it, I don't know what it is.
Well, I know that it was, this is the trough, but it also had a base that was a big granite block. That
It had
held-
what? I'm
A
sorry?
base that held it up higher, so
Oh.
the horses didn't have to, bend really low to get a drink of water. And I have a sort of anecdotal idea of where that is.
Oh,
Yes, I'm not going to say it right now because it's at somebody's house, but,
okay.
In the picture of the old courthouse,
yeah.
is that a trough on the lower right-hand side? But it looks like there's something in front of the meter,
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, to the left of the car.
I know.
and I'm hoping the horses didn't have to plug the meter, but
But if you look at the picture above that, in the top right corner, you can see that it's two pieces and it's not, so what we're looking at in these pieces is the top trough part.
Right.
And then there was a base underneath it.
but that's, you think that's what that might be? Not the same one, but one.
This is the trough, but the base is gone.
So what I'm looking at is the exact one we have?
Yeah.
Okay. It looks a little different.
What about the Water Street side of the courthouse? The brick sidewalk portion seems to widen at some point.
Like near the crosswalk?
I think he means the
Or-
part right next to the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah,
that's
Chamber of
it,
Commerce, right.
Except they've got such a pretty flower garden. I hate to
I mean, it's in
take that
picture.
I think it'd be neat to have it where
Well-
it normally would be.
I kind of,
Not
I mean, I hear Julie's point, I think it's a good one about the busyness of that
Yeah.
space and the attention of that pad originally. The park is a good suggestion, but it doesn't really fulfill the antiqueness of the trough where it was in the center of town. I was thinking perhaps the Water Street side of the
We
courthouse.
should all go to the bathroom and look out the window.
Yeah.
It's like the best place to see that area.
Yeah. But I don't know if it's wide enough or
Yeah.
not.
On the old courthouse side of the street is a little less traveled than where all the shops are, right?
That's what I meant. That's where the Chamber of Commerce is.
Yeah, but maybe that makes sense because there are fewer people.
Well, you get everybody that goes around that corner,
Yeah.
which is,
Fewer than maybe on the side where the shops are, that's all.
Yeah, yeah.
By maybe only 20%, but I think there's probably fewer, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll sit down here someday.
But the shop side of Water Street, it is the path for people to walk in. I don't think we can find a place where
No.
there.
Except for maybe that little bump out.
well, there's that funny looking dragon's tooth that they have right at the end of the crosswalk. The one that triangle that sticks out into the street.
Yeah. Or
There's a bike rack there now.
Yeah.
if Jay gets us out of here by 8, we can go take a walk.
I could do that. That's a good motivating factor.
You want it out of the snow removal.
Yeah,
That would be true, too.
That's
a
the
good
other
point.
thing, is
That's a
that
good
whatever
point.
we think is appropriate, it has to work with our,
Yeah. We do.
Who actually
Seasonal.
accepts this gift?
the
Is it
selectmen,
select board?
the select board accepted it already.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Good,
Okay.
all right.
Maybe the town should create a doggy park.
Believe me, that's been like a 10-year discussion. Water and parking and space and,
Yeah. Okay, so there's got to be some place
There's a
we can
dog
put
park
this.
in the, your old school, there's a dog park.
There's one at the academy.
Yeah, exactly.
So should
No one
we,
uses it. Beautiful.
Oh, I've seen people.
Do we make the decision, or are we just saying we think it would go well here?
Not a lot of,
How about in front of the next house? I mean, that's, the right-of-way is the town's, and it could be in front of the Gardner house next door.
In front of what?
Isn't it the Gardner house
oh, in the right-of-way
next, yeah.
at 12 Front, in front of 12 Front Street. That's a thought.
Yeah, they talk about it has to have a base, but I bet the Public Works can, put gravel in or whatever needed, rocks or whatever, and then the granite piece that it sits on. And then,
I have a notion
but
of where
it would be pretty visible there, and it would look like, and would go with that house too. And,
yeah.
it's an 1825 house or whatever it is. I think.
And, sorry, Don, I can't hear you.
Oh, okay, thank you.
That's a good thought.
It's,
So you mean like where they don't have a lawn, but where whatever that Virginia creeper is?
No, on the other
No.
side of the sidewalk on the town's right-of-way.
Oh, okay,
between the sidewalk and the road.
okay.
And sort of in front, right centered there would be fun.
Well, once again, what about the maintenance people?
Well, that's a question to ask. I asked at the select board that the
Yeah.
Heritage Commission have an opportunity to weigh in on whether we want
Okay,
a
okay.
planter of this, significant historical value.
Okay.
so we come up with a couple of places,
Yeah.
and then Public Works can review them.
Yeah.
They have the final say.
Well, as far as landscaping that area, maintaining that area, you have to maintain the area around where the bike rack and that is now, and I imagine they use a weed whacker or something.
Yeah.
And they could just go down a little bit further.
gets it out of the way of snow removal.
Yeah.
No problem with that. If we get any snow anymore.
So am I hearing that based on the two proposals in the letter, the town office building, there isn't any support for that?
I don't support it, no.
Do others have a
I
strong
have to take
feeling?
another look, to be honest with you. I hadn't.
In the townhouse common?
Townhouse Common is pretty busy, and it really gets used. I don't know where you'd put it in the Townhouse Common.
No, I think that would have to have the input of Parks and Rec who take care of it. And,
Yeah.
Didn't they just put a new platform or something?
they did, but it's used for performances and,
Yeah.
it's not.
No, it could possibly go there up in the front, but again, I just came by there and I'm trying to visit it too, but it's not as visible as it would be down here.
Right.
Yeah, that's why,
Yeah.
and it's sort of natural that it would be in front of a house.
So I'm hearing that what we find important is the visibility of it from a traditional sense, but where it might have been at the time of horse and buggy and time of use. So visibility is important, but also recognition that maintenance around it, whether it's grass or snow, is an important factor. So it seems perhaps the townhouse common still could be an option, but also a proposal for the space at 12 Front Street.
I'd also like to take a look at Founder's Park. I know it's not, at the time when the trough was there, it was full of buildings and, tenements, but there's space, and I just don't know how, given the maintenance and upkeep there, if there's a spot that would be good when people are walking down to look at the river There's that nice garden in the front, and the fountain, and our statue.
Again,
They'd have
it's
to be
a nice-
aware that that park is used for events too.
Yeah.
And it's not a very big space for events.
It's true.
And I suppose you could tuck it out of the way, but then if you tuck it out of the way, no one's going to see
What's the
it.
purpose? Yeah.
So I question, I'd have to,
Yeah. No, that's a good observation.
Well, we kind of want it to be where a watering trough would be, where if this were a horse-type town, where would you put it? And if you stuck it up in Founder's Park, the horses would get very thirsty.
But the streets would be cleaner.
This is very true. And that used to be a big problem, aren't you? Glad you weren't a selectman.
so our objective is just to forward a letter or notice to the Public Works or?
That's my understanding. I was going to respond to Pam's letter here, or to draft something for the select board to consider.
I think, it was forwarded to the select board by Pam McElroy and Jay Perkins. So I think responding to them and copying the select board on it.
Okay.
Because it was a gift to us, I think the select board may have will have the final say of where to put it as a donation.
I believe they've already accepted it. Wasn't that in this?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So I'll action item on this would be to take a stab at a draft response, kind of capturing this discussion in brief and give you a chance to review that, and then I can forward that on.
Sure.
I have one question. Given that I believe, and I think that it's shown in this photograph, that there was a base below the trough, would it be acceptable to you for me to reach out to somebody that has a huge slab of granite that might match the size to lift it up, higher off the ground?
And who has one of those?
I think that would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm in favor of that. All right.
Unfortunately, it's not as decorative as the Northampton one.
All right. Any further discussion?
That's good.
All right, let's move on to, I'll just sort of check off a couple of agenda items here. Without Maura being here, I don't suspect there's any update on where the Black Heritage Pocket Park discussion is at this point.
I think that's just being held up because we're going to be doing construction down there with the sewer siphons coming under the river.
Okay.
So the parkway will be disrupted for a while.
So we could,
So it's on pause. It's
on
hold.
pause, long pause,
Well, I don't, yeah,
or
till the fall anyway.
till, yeah. Let me just make note of that. I wanted to include you all in just a summary of an email exchange I had with Parks and Rec and Florence Ruffner on the Daughters of the American Revolution plaque at the Winter Street Cemetery. Because it was Independence Day, I happened just to start thinking about that, and they had reached out to us in support of that plaque, and I was curious if that plaque had been set or anything was decided upon, and I'm reporting to you all that nothing has
I have not seen it.
taken
I've
place
been
at
up
this
there.
point. So, and I'm hoping they would continue to keep us informed if there were any announcement or setting of that plaque. It would be good for us to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And they did meet at the Historical Society, and nobody said anything about a plaque.
Remind me, have we seen what they want to put up?
I have no idea. I wasn't at that meeting. The meeting where she came and, or when she talked to you.
Yeah, it was an email exchange back in November of 21, I believe, or December. Plaque size, I recall something of the maybe 14 to 24 type dimension, a standard plaque recognizing those service members who are buried in the cemetery from that time. So it was an application to the national chapter. I didn't suspect that there would be any. I thought it would be accepted in quick process, but not sure what the holdup would be. So I just wanted to include you on that conversation that I had. The one agenda item that probably will take the most work, and not that we have to take too much time today, but I think an action item moving forward to help partition the workload is memorializing our work on the neighborhood heritage area. I included a draft outline that I shared with those in attendance to the last meeting, and I wanted to bring that back for those that missed that meeting today. So this was, for those that attended last meeting, it was widely supported that the effort to create some sort of documentation of that work. It was significant work. It was thoughtful work. It had many stages. It was thorough in our proposal and attempts, and I think it's important for us to, though it didn't move all the way forward, I think it's important for us to create a resource for others who may attempt a neighborhood heritage area and/or a very detailed public record for those that may want to pick up the football at some future time. So, thoughts or discussions around that? We've got quite a bit. Maybe if those of you that see a section that you want to add detail to, we could assign that and do some draft work for our next meeting.
I think that actually this list is a comprehensive kind of index to a box of things that we have, the samples of the actual postcards and responses. And one thing that I would include here is the actual Park Street area survey that we did, a copy of that.
It did just direct me to the outline where that might be. The 6-page survey, which would be 5C. Is that what you're saying?
No, the survey area, the historical survey area that we did, that the selection of this neighborhood was chosen from.
Oh, the actual map?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the report that goes with it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd put that right on top.
Yeah. There would be a significant appendix to go along with any sort of narrative. What I'm interested in, I think, at least in my vision, and we can steer it in any direction that you want, is to have some sort of a narrative here, whether it's small, short paragraphs or some sort of timeline associated. The narrative is the really only word I'm coming up with at this point, that then has appendices to the documents that were created.
So that when somebody wants to pick this up again, they don't have to start from scratch.
Exactly, you got it, Pam. That's exactly what I was saying.
Would it be helpful, Jay? I think like at the number 8A, that you actually put the numbers in there. There's 88 ballots cast, 62 opposed, 26 in favor, and maybe some of the other ones where 195 residents received a postcard. Well, how many showed up at the Zoom meeting? If someone's just looking at this wondering why we dropped it, we didn't get a lot of response, that might be helpful.
Yeah, that's excellent. And those are the type of details, right, that I think, they're certainly missing here, and this was just a first pass at it, but you're absolutely right. On that note, and I was given this this evening, I've got some graphical printouts here. I didn't take a peek at it too much, but these were put together by one of the residents of the area, Joel Chandler, who came and he did.
Okay.
sat in on a number of our meetings, and afterwards, we did count the votes. We didn't go into too much detail, but I appreciate that Joel did here and then was willing to share these data. So certainly would be added in as an appendix to what we're compiling.
Yeah, this is
Well, this is kind of just what I asked for.
Yeah, well, when you asked it, I'm like, well, that was not planned, but a perfect segue into some
I got your email this afternoon.
to pass this on.
And do you have
So-
this in color?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question, if it's in color.
It's just, like, some of them are
Yeah.
same gray, and I don't know if it really,
Well, that total votes in favor should be that white section. I think that's what that really should be over there, I believe.
I see, yep, I get it. Box.
Just arrow it.
I understand that this was given to Barb electronically, so perhaps there is
Okay.
the ability of color.
Well, no, John, just, all that's needed is a little box that's white.
Yeah, exactly. It's there. They need to outline it.
Yeah, I have to get a drink of water.
But then if you have the other graph on the next page is a little clearer, maybe.
Does anybody see anything on this outline that you want to tackle and
Just a minor
Yes, I
thing.
think Maura should
John,
do it, because Maura is the one that really did most of this work.
Yeah.
well, there was
I hate to
think-
volunteer her when she's not here, but
well, I think that to me is sort of number 5 in the outline.
yeah.
But we all did participate in, I would say all of us, in the Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
Some of us participated in the walking tour.
Yeah.
John, you put together, you really got this started from the beginning, and maybe there's some language for what you did.
Well, there's the document that was produced by Liz Hengen, and that we ought to mention that because that was explained the legalities of the whole issue. And that would go, I think, in the front with the survey that was done.
do we need to expand on the funding of what was done and the walking tour, or those two items at the top?
Well, why? I mean, does it make a difference?
Well, what did we do about funding? I mean,
Came out of our budget.
Yeah, we pay for it.
well, okay, that might be interesting that we didn't have a grant.
No, it was funded through the budget.
I guess just,
Funding by town.
and a walking tour of the neighborhood? Just using that. And then is it clear, down where John was a minute ago, 7 and 8, that the 88 ballots were from the 195 people? That those,
Yes.
Yes.
okay?
And the walking tour does still exist. It's on the Historical Society has it, and you can get it on our website.
Well, is that the same one we took for the,
Yeah.
Why isn't it on our website?
this is before I joined the board, so I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Well, in the walking tour, and maybe we're talking about two different things. I was
Yeah.
recalling that a number of us walked
We did.
the neighborhood, so that's...
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't realize that, so that's great. Yeah, it should be on our website, I guess.
Well, I can make a stab at doing a opening document, that this is what we were trying to do. These are the resources, and then some of these things are just going, to talk about. We did have public forums. We did have Zoom. Our meetings were on Zoom. We did have Zoom public forums. But some of these things are really just exhibits or appendices, as Jay said. I can say we solicited a vote in March and April, see Appendix E or whatever it ends up being.
So, I guess this will take a little bit of research and just connecting the dots. I mean, I'm looking at an accordion file here that Pam has shared, which I'm certain has all of our...
I think this is a very valuable thing to have.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, as a start, I'm thinking of it as a starting point, but I do want to expand it in some way. Right now, everything feels loosely connected.
Some stuff.
And I want to.
He wanted to be able to, so somebody wants to do it, you say, here.
To bring it in.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So you want a narrative, really, that brings all of these, kind of bullet points together.
I think I think a narrative is important.
Yeah.
And the details found in the narrative, I mean, it's essentially a first-person account of what we did, but it was a committee. We all worked together on it. So I guess my question is there a part that somebody wants to take on in terms of a narrative, and we can begin to piece it together? I think we've identified perhaps where Maura could maybe weigh in with a narrative. I know I worked on the postcards and the presentation for the public forum, the Zoom. So I know I can take on some research of that. I think John's question about how many people participated in the open forums, those Zoom meetings, some of the questions that came out of that. I know we came up with the FAQs, and that's somewhere in our record.
Yeah.
Julie and John, perhaps just sort of that opening paragraph or opening narrative with survey. I mean, that involved the beginning of this process.
What do you actually need? I mean, we have the surveys. You don't want those.
Well, we do want the surveys, and we can put this all together. I guess I'm just looking as an action item moving forward, if anyone would take on a narrative.
Yeah, the narrative would reference the surveys, and the survey itself would be like an appendice as an example of what we did, and maybe
Like
somebody...
The Franklin Street survey is huge. Do you want to stick that onto you? I mean, it's like...
The Park Street area survey, I mean, yeah. I mean, this is part of how the process began, was identifying that neighborhood and getting the information about its growth and patterns and people and uses. I'm picturing that it's not just a document. This is going to be a drawer of materials.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in case someone gets the urge to bring this up again in 5 years, they'll have a reference and they can look at that and see if it's worth the fight.
Absolutely.
Or would they do it differently?
Yeah, what would they do differently?
Right.
Okay, now I'm blanking. What was the mapping survey in 2012? I must have been here, but I can't remember it.
That's the CLG grant we did for a wider area of the Park Street, one from Main Street down to Epping Road and all the way back to Rose Farm, some Green Street.
Okay.
They did it a little differently than the Franklin Street area. They didn't pick out each piece. They picked out, but they had the overall history of the area and its early settlement or lack of it. But it was laid out, early in the town's history. It's on our, the link to it is on our website.
So we continue to be in favor of the concept. And then I think it sounds like we're partitioning a little bit of the vision of this work among us to, as an action item for our next meeting.
Yeah, I'd be happy to take a stab at beginning a narrative
Okay.
and see if it's going the way you're thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I think, right, we just have to get messy at first, throw some language on paper. Yeah, if you take that opening part and develop it, that first section, I'll draft up something that carries us through the public forums and the Zoom meetings. I'll reach out to Maura and have her put some narrative to the resident panel process, and I mean, that may be a really good start for us, because then the other stuff may begin to fall in place as we gain momentum in describing it. Okay, so let's do that. Thank you for that. Election of officers. Something we tabled from last week, just with the numbers there. Do we have the interest, or do we have the numbers to make some decisions on this, or is this something that we continue to, the officers that we have, we continue through this next season until springtime,
what is it,
or
February or? April, okay.
Or May, actually.
I mean, I'll make a motion to reappoint the same officers if they're interested. I don't want to nominate someone if they don't want the job.
Well, Maura isn't here, she's the treasurer. I would continue on as chairman. My term ends, and I'm still struggling. My term ends in 2023, so I'm still struggling in deciding what to do beyond that, but I'm happy to continue as chairman up until that time, so that kicks my decision down the road a little bit.
Okay.
I'll second John's motion.
And John, you're vice chairman, is that?
Yeah,
Are you?
I'm going to go to, I don't know when my term is up, but I think that this is my last one.
As vice chairman? Or last term?
Last term.
Yeah. I don't know when
It's
your
on the website, right?
term is up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm just,
These
It's on the town
offices go
website.
really till
I think- I-
30th, and since you haven't been thrown off this year, you're still on until 2023, I think.
Yeah.
I know Maura's
You get
2023,
that 10-year term.
and I'm 2023, but I don't know, John, if you're,
Are you pulling that up? now?
I'm trying to, but I have to remember my password.
Okay.
But John,
But I will be happy to stay vice chair.
Steve, okay, all right.
we're 3 months into the year or something like that. April, May, June, July.
But I guess that won't affect the motion that's on the table. John, you made a motion to
I
keep
second
officers.
that we're going to elect the same officers, so.
All those, any
The
further
current split,
discussion?
Yes. Okay.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the same officers?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. That's unanimous.
If Maura wants to change her mind, we can take that up.
Sure, okay.
She can refuse.
Or she's run off with all our money.
All right.
She won't
It has to get
far.
approved by a second authority, so.
It's a couple of blocks away.
Okay, I think
that-
you've got it right.
Let's see.
Just saying, well, Julie has some updates on terms here.
Well, maybe
All
not.
right, Jay's 2023, John, you are 2024,
There we go.
and Maura is 2023.
And what am I?
You're ex officio, so you serve at the pleasure of your position on the HDC.
Octaliba, okay.
Which brings us to our last agenda item for those that serve on other boards and are here as ex officios. Are there any updates from Select Board? We'll start there.
Well, I think the trough is the main thing, plus the public service announcements that the board needs to organize a little better. The one thing that we've been talking about, and it doesn't, think about how this affects our committee, but formalizing whether or not we want to meet every month or as needed. One of the reasons I hesitate to change it is because part of our mission is to do educational projects, and we haven't done that, like bringing ourselves out to the town. We've done the surveys for people to, we've done reference materials, but we haven't done something, a program that we sponsor, say. Frankly, I don't think we have the bandwidth of support to do that, but I would like to. That being said, the question is, do we feel the need at this right now to meet every month, or just as needed for demo review? If we come up with a project that we want to do, then we'd meet more often.
I mean, if you schedule the quarterly meeting, you could add a meeting in between if you
Right.
needed it, right?
Right. Yeah. So there's that, and I'm going to throw this out there. No, I'm not. I'm going to wait. Never mind. I'm going to wait.
I think I remember you brought that up last month. I guess if I skimmed it in the minutes, I missed it. I thought at that time maybe we didn't decide on anything at that time. Do we need to formalize a decision with a vote?
No, right now, I think that we, and we have in the past canceled meetings because we really didn't have a topic matter of any urgency to discuss. I think we should just leave it like that now until after the volunteer fair.
Okay.
See what we can get and the PSAs.
Well, there's no point in having a meeting just to have a meeting.
No.
Right, and then that's why we cancel them on occasion.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of reserving the room monthly and then canceling it, as opposed to, hey, can we have a room? Oh, it's busy,
Right.
Okay.
And then educational projects, is there a decision we need to make? Or you were mentioning bandwidth. Do we recognize that we don't have the bandwidth for educational process?
I've been recognizing that since the beginning of this commission. We don't have staff support to help us. You're all, or most of you have jobs or, other things that take up your time. You might have available volunteer time to put a project together. I'm going to use window restoration for an example. I know it's already been done once by actually the Conservation Commission of all places, and, we didn't know about that until the very end. But something like that, or, that we've talked often about having the smart app for your phone to do a walking tour with, and that's great, but I don't expect any of you to come up with, unless you find a program that we can just adapt and we can put some staff on it, I don't expect you to go out and develop a tool.
Thank you.
The content perhaps, but not the tool itself.
But you know what we could do, and it would be like this PSA thing. We could pick one thing like demolition and put something on the town website. When do you need to call Heritage for a demolition review?
Yes.
And then we would pick a site, maybe some friendly person with an old barn. And we'd go out and take pictures, and then we'd show them, we'd pick one that has a good history and say, well, here it is on this map, and here it is on this map, and here is the history of the area.
And that's a good project that one person could do at a time, like based on a property. Which I thought of something while you were saying it. One thing we haven't done is we take photographs of buildings that are proposed to be demolished when we go out and do the demo review. I have a ton of them on my computer and or phone that we need to organize with the building department. But one thing, along with that, what we haven't done is photographed what took its place.
That's what gets fixed up.
yeah, if a building's demolished, what gets put in its, what gets built, which I think would be an interesting, it has some historical value just partly because we're documenting what's here when.
And we at the Historical Society would like that because we would have files of photos by
Right.
street.
Right.
And so if you want to get rid of, to download your backload onto us, we'd actually be happy to have it.
Okay. Well, I think other people have photographs too, that we need in a central location for one thing for the building department to have, which I think they should be filed with the project file. So you get the before and after in one place and or our own Heritage Commission document file. So that's something I need to discuss with the building department about that process because it's been a long time and we haven't done anything to make it officially safe. Or if one of you wants to talk to the building department about it, that would be great.
So what I'm hearing is to fall under the heading of educational projects, that we have material in our possession that needs organized, in particular the demo review photos that we've done, and include an after picture in that, so that creates a educational file to be held with the building department, or something that would be linked to, that's all electronic, so it could be on our web page.
Yep.
Some of that's already there, because we write a letter on a demo review, and when I do that, I always include photographs
I did not know that.
as part of that, but I don't go back and take a photograph of what got replaced, but
No, well, that aspect of it, for the most part, is in whatever drawings are with the building permit. So it's not exactly a photograph, it might be a drawing instead, but I just thought it would be interesting to take the photo from the same position in the road as you were when you looking at the demo.
Good idea, probably a lot of time and effort, and I think falls under the bandwidth observation that we have at the moment. I like the idea. Others thoughts in
It
terms
would
of
be
the
kind of
idea?
neat to look back on that.
Right. So something we'll keep, we'll put as an agenda item moving forward, so we don't lose track of it, but just
On
need
the
to,
to-do list.
on the to-do list, but keep,
The big ones get done. I mean, like the courthouse, which was torn down, we've got pictures of that. But for example, we did the house over on the corner over near the development.
the Wadley Street, right?
Which,
Wadley Street?
yes. And
Yeah.
that, it's a new house going up.
Right.
Yes.
Somebody might be interested in seeing the before and after that.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, and that's, and particularly in that neighborhood, I have to say, because of the scale of the neighborhood, and that was one of our arguments for keeping the original building that was there, was that it was kept into the character of the neighborhood. And it also had its own unique characteristics and, all the reasons that we put in the review letter. But, that was its own, not colloquial, unique little piece of Exeter's history, and now it's being replaced by something else. And it's part of the idea of our mapping project, where we talk about the growth of the town through, circles, and then it comes to infill, and so that's a change over time that is perhaps by fashion as opposed to by manufacture or by work or people.
Probably pretty obvious, but over time, the percentage of the town that's old, so to speak, decreases compared to the new. I'm thinking of what we think of as old before maybe 1900 or something. But, because everything, obviously, there's new developments and lots of them out there. It's certainly changed since I've come.
Anything else from the select board? Planning commission, John, anything that the HC?
I don't think there's anything.
No, what's going on?
that, you know, where we interacted, obviously everyone knows the Baptist church that we looked at early on, that went through zoning, went through planning, has all been approved. I don't know when that starts, but
Okay.
I'm not sure. I don't think there's anything that we need to talk about.
Good.
Julie, are we a planning board or a planning commission?
Board,
Okay. Is there a difference?
yes.
So I'll change
The boards have some authority, well, HDC does too. I don't know. That's the legal name in the state law, so.
Okay.
I'll make a noted change for calling it a planning board next
You
time.
become the heritage board, give it to them.
Yeah, right. Different level of authority there. Pam, anything from the historic?
We haven't
Commission?
met for a while. We haven't met since they tore down that beautiful house on Gilman Lane.
Ooh,
Ooh. Yeah, that hurt. That really hurt. I'm really wondering if I want to stay on. But, that's,
Okay.
Well, on that topic, I have to say we lost the 3 architects that we had on the board all in one fell swoop.
we did.
We lost what?
The 3 architects we had on the HDC.
Patrick,
Patrick moved, and then Curtis and Doug just didn't renew their
yep.
terms.
So we're pretty, the board is now shrunk.
I think at this point, if one person's not there, we don't have a quorum.
Yeah.
Or 2.
Anything in terms of new business or any agenda items that you wanted to bring to the table for today or next time?
7:58.
If not, I'll entertain a
I'll make
motion.
a motion to adjourn to
second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 98 and 22. Channel 98 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 13, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.